All right, how's everyone doing? Back for the Super Regional or East Super Regional preview. I'm joined with Glenn, Kaiser, and we're going to break down weight class by weight class, who we think are going to be the representatives in Hershey next week. I think it should be noted these are opinions, and some of you dads on the message boards or the forum need to, calm down a little bit and not get so butthurt over it. Fielding emails and things of that nature over this and being called names is a little bit extreme, but to each his own. So now we got that out of the way, Glenn. This week we are going to be treated to some great wrestling, and although I know people are up in arms about not being able to be there in person, it just doesn't. Glenn, you're going to be able to back me up on this. It just doesn't. The numbers don't jive, and it's unfortunate. Don't get me wrong. Like, it is going to be, different. And I understand from the parent perspective not being able to see your kid wrestle. But the reality is, these are the rules, and we got to play by them. I'm not going to sit here and tell you to be grateful that we're having wrestling. Since it's just my opinion that these are the rules, and this is what we got to do. I understand we're not. The West is not falling by the same thing, but when you lose all those seats in the bottom, like Quakertown's going to on Saturday, there's not a whole lot of seating up top, and that is a huge factor for putting people and spacing them out. It's less than ideal, but it's a situation we're in, and we're gonna just make the best of it, and let's focus on getting as many of our guys from District 1 into Hershey next week and get them on the podium. That's ultimately is the goal for everyone. So Glenn, your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I want to say a couple things. That's why I stay off the forum, Joe. I don't like to get bashed, but I know you enjoy it. So, but yeah, everyone's got to understand that, this is not an easy task at this super region here. I mean, this is the first round of states in our eyes. I think everyone's in agreement that all these guys are state qualifiers. So we kind of talked about that last week. But I did want to talk about Quakertown and districts when they ran the first round of districts. And, the bottom line is that they want to have a capacity of 170 people, Joe. And that's what they did. I was not in the gym. I opted out to give those guys some extras people for, whatever it was, would it be tournament staff, some extra coaches, things like that. So, I mean, they're really, really sticking to a nice schedule. And the safety first. And, I wrote an article for the suburban1sports.com the other day, recapping, regionals. And I talked about how, unusual it was in that region to see no fans, and really felt bad for the parents and the fans. And it's really got to be really hard for those seniors. But at the same time, the level of intensity of the wrestling and the competitiveness of the athletes was tremendous. So I think all aside, I think the kids are used to it. So that's the good thing. The fans are never going to get used to it. Now, I don't know what's going to happen at states. I know there's some to be determined stuff. Pennsylvania did lighten up a little bit on allowing fans in. I don't know what they're going to do. It would be awfully short turnaround time, but we'll see what happens there. I mean, who knows? I mean, I don't know. Dr. Lombardi and Mark Beyer are looking at that and see what's going on. But maybe cross your fingers. Maybe some fans will get into that arena at the Giant Center and see some wrestling. So, yeah, let's get into it. I don't think we have a whole lot to talk about other than this is some really great wrestling. I mean, I think we have a state final at 189 pounds in a semifinal match. There's some number one ranked kids here on the PIAA Power Rankings in this East region. I think it's going to be exciting. I think you and I just talked off camera about how the West may knock off each other a little bit and eliminate some of these top 5 guys that are out there. So that's really an interesting scenario that what's going to happen in both these regions. You may see some kids that are, top 8 in the state not even get out. So we're going to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, that's a definite possibility. Some of those top level guys that we have here in the state that aren't going to get to Hershey, and not so much out of necessarily our region, more so some of the others. But it is what it is. And let's lace up the shoes and wrestle this weekend, and looking forward to it. So just an FYI, just put some perspective in. It is Wednesday evening. Glenn and I are recording this, so if there are changes to brackets in the meantime between now and tomorrow, between now and Thursday, and whenever Mike is able to release this, We do apologize for oversights on that, but just this is the most accurate thing or accurate brackets we have as of right now, and due to Glenn and I's schedules, we record on Wednesday instead of Thursday this week. So we wanted to get it out and get it done and get it out for everyone, so that you guys have stuff to argue about.
Yeah, there were a couple injuries, so we're just kind of waiting here. I didn't hear any fill-ins, and I know Mike would be the first to know. So right now the bracket stands.
All right, Glenn. Well, just kind of like we did last week, same format. Glenn's got his brackets at home. I'm going to put my brackets up on the screen. We're going to talk. I'll talk a little bit about some of my picks, and then Glenn's going to join in and give his. So, with that said, here I'm going to present.
It's all about technology, Joe. All about
it
technology.
It is. All right, so looking at 106 pounds East Super Regional, the Southeast Regional champ was Cole Smith from Springford, and the Northeast champ was Carson Wagner from Northampton. I think those two are on a collision course, Glenn, in this bracket. I think Wagner is the class of this bracket. I think Wagner does win it, but let's take a look at some of the more details. So, I got Smith beating Cook, Sirianni from Abington Heights beating Sheridan, Jezanovic from Stroudsburg beating Tony Burke, and Wagner beating McFarland in those first round quarterfinal matchups, with Wagner and Smith surviving into the finals, and ultimately Wagner winning. Like I said, I believe he's the class of the 106 pounders, and it's more or less his bracket to lose.
Well, absolutely. Wagner's ranked number 1 in the state PA power. We know that, and I agree with you. I have it a little bit differently. I kind of went with an all District 1 kind of bracket up top. I have Sheridan winning that match against Sirianni. Just have a gut feeling with Sheridan. He seems to be peaking. We've seen him wrestle earlier in the year, and I really liked him. I just have him kind of coming out of the gate and getting a win. So I have him there, and I do have Burke taking out Jasanowicz as well. So and you'll see that later on. That match again, I think we both have that the same way. So that's just again that match with Burke and Jasanowicz. Jasanowicz is another top ranked guy. I think he's in the top 5. I think that he was number 4 in the previous rankings PA Power. So I really, that's a great match out of the gate. This is one of those. This is a quarterfinal match that would be at Hershey anyway. So I really like that match. This 106-pound weight class is phenomenal.
Yeah, so let's take a look at the Wrestleback bracket. And I got Cook and Sheridan, Burke and McFarland. I got Sheridan winning and losing to Jezanovic. Burke beat McFarland, and Burke beat Sirianni to set up a what is District 11, District 1 matchup with Jezanovic beating Burke, and then Sheridan beating Sirianni for 5th place. So, Glenn, how do you see it?
Yeah, I have it the same way with the way you have the guys in the finals, in the Conti finals. So I have Burke and Jasanowicz. I have it flip-flopped, obviously, because of the way I had my semis. But I do have Burke winning that match again. So I have Burke taking 3rd, and I have Sheridan taking Sirianni out for 5th place as well. So, I think it's just a matter of really one big match there early between Burke and Jasanowicz is going to really decide a little bit up top. But I think when you come back down around, I think we have the top 4 right, Joe.
Yeah, I feel confident in that, and we'll see how it goes. I think that Jovanovic Burke match, it's one of those ones where we've talked about in the past. You flip a coin, one guy beats the other, and then if they have a rematch, it goes the other way. I just feel Jovanovic is going to get the better of him on Saturday.
Yeah, then that Stroudsburg team has been good the last couple of years. I know they didn't have a lot of matches. As you can see, he was only I think he was like 10-2 on the season, right, coming in. So I just think that it's a good match, and I just think Burke is hot. Dropping from 13, he just seems to be hot at 106 right now. So that's going to be an exciting one. I'll be watching that one. Oh yeah, one more thing just to talk about. I forgot to mention about Quakertown. The way they're going to put it on their the Quakertown TV, it's excellent. They're going to have all the mats on, and they did a really nice job with the cameras last week. Now, I know there was some sound. I know people were complaining about no sound at our region, but it is a little chaotic with all the whistles blowing and stuff. But it is an excellent viewing for the fan. You get to see all the mats at the same time. So I really enjoyed that when I watched the districts the first go around, because I was not in the gym.
Yeah, and for those that didn't know, they're going to wrestle the lower weights first, and then bring in the upper weights, and wrestle the lower weights all the way through, finish it up, then bring the upper weights in, wrestle them all the way through. So there will be champs crowned in the late morning, early afternoon, and then later in the afternoon, the second half of the champs will be crowned then. So
yeah, that's a good point. I don't know if Mike put that schedule up, but that schedule was just kind of revised over the last couple of days. But
yeah, and again, that's for a numbers thing, where getting people out of the gym and staying within their parameters. So that was just brought to my attention this evening as well. All right, Glenn, you ready to go to 113?
Absolutely.
All right, 113. Southeast champ was Mason Ziegler from Quakertown, and the Northeast champ was, Zach Giacaruso from Delaware Valley out of District 2. I got Ziegler winning his quarterfinal match over Austin No from Northampton. I have Charlie Bunting from Nazareth winning over Dominic Ortlip of Springford. I have Cale McIntyre from Bethlehem Catholic beating Sam Coons, and Giacaruso beating Cameron Cortez from Westchester Henderson. I then have Bunting and Giacaruso surviving from there to set up a rematch from last week's Northeast region, won by Giacaruso. I think Bunting gets the best of them here. The difference between the top three at 113 from coming out of Northeast is so close. And as Giacaruso, I believe, got by McIntyre last week, I think he does it again, but I don't think he beats Bunting for a second time in the same day. I'm just going with a gut feeling there. Super impressed with Giacaruso. Kind of got eyes on for the first time last year when he wrestled in the finals, escaped the Rock. Was super impressed. And memory serves me correct, I don't believe he even qualified for states last year out of the Northeast region. So this is a guy that definitely has had a lot of upside, and it's now it's coming to we're seeing it firsthand. Ziegler's gonna have his hands full of Bunting from Nazareth, and that's how I see the top half of the bracket playing out. Glenn, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm a little.
Yeah,
I stayed local here, and I don't really have a whole lot of criteria that I base it on, other than I have Ziegler as the hottest little wrestler right now in our area. I mean, this guy has done nothing but win. I'm sure Bunting and Ziegler have wrestled as youth wrestlers with the proximity up there in Quakertown and the Lehigh Valley. So I'm not sure the outcomes of those matches. But I like Ziegler here. I'm going to go with a hot hand, and I have Ziegler going all the way and knocking off Giacaruso in the finals. Now, Bunting,
Suburban one all the way, right?
Yeah, it's tough for me sometimes when I see that when we're 1-2 here, because I also have Coons taking McIntyre out. But you're right. You bring up a good point about the closeness here with those guys from the Lehigh Valley. But again, I'm kind of going with the guy that's wrestled the most. I mean, Ziegler has 25 matches under his belt. These other guys have it combined. I mean, Giacaruso has 13 matches. Bunting has 6. I mean, I'm just feeling that Ziegler just may be a little more seasoned this year coming into this super region. And a lot of people have been looking out for Mason Ziegler to get to high school, and he's here, and he's done nothing but impress. So I'm not going to rule him out as winning this super region in what is a really studded field. I mean, again, some of the top 10, kids here at 113 are right in our backyard. I mean, you got McIntyre that I think was 9 in the last ranking, Giacaruso at 8, and of course Ziegler just outside at 13, and Bunting at 6, and Ortlib at 12. I mean, it's just really a real good group of kids here. These weight classes down low are phenomenal, Joe. I
think that, to piggyback what you said, I think it's going to be a recurring theme of what we talk about tonight. We're only in the second weight class. I think we're going to see a lot of, there's going to be a lot of weight classes where we say, man, we got ranked wrestlers all over the place, both from District 1, District 11, and there's, we're going to sprinkle in some District 2 guys because they bring, Delaware Valley's got some hammers.
Yeah.
Hazleton area's got some hammers. So, we're going to see them in, the where Delaware Valley's good, they're really good. Where Hazleton's good, they're
I was
really
just going
good.
to say Delaware Valley, man. You don't want to run into a Del Val kid. We went to camp with them forever and ever, and that was just not a fun dual meet every time we got them at camp, Joe.
Yep. So, all right, let's look at the constellation
Let's see
bracket
what we got
here.
down here. Maybe we got something right down here. No, we can't. It's not possible.
All right, so I got Noah and Ortlip. I got Ortlip beating him and then knocking off McIntyre. Coons and Cortese and some District 1 on District 1 wrestling. I got Coons beating Cortese, and then Ziegler beating Coons, and Ziegler beating Ortlip, and McIntyre beating Coons for 5th. That's where my gut took me today.
Yeah, I mean, I do have McIntyre taking 5th, but I have him over Ortlip, and I have Coons and Bunting. Don't forget this Coons kid. I mean, this is another freshman that people have been waiting to see from Penn Ridge. I mean, Penn Ridge resurgence this year with their youth program kind of coming back up through as 9th graders now. This kid's impressive. He's long. He's seasoned. I think he gets out horsed a little bit in some matches I've seen, but for the most part, the Coons can wrestle with just about anybody, and I do have him beating Ortlip. Coming back through just because of the way my bracket is, Joe.
Yeah.
So, but again, this is a match or two away up top for changing, either way for both of us. And again, just real competitive matches all the way up and down. I mean, it's funny. There's no easy outs in this super region. I mean, this is the first round of states. I don't think people are really kind of fathoming the depth of that at this point. I mean, this really we're in the state tournament. It just happens to be in 2 different sites to open the thing up. And this is going to be some phenomenal wrestling. And I'm really excited. Every weight class, it seems like we just get into more and more studs. I mean, this next weight class at 120 is crazy.
Yeah, and to more on Coons, I think he came in with less hype than his teammate Cole Coffin, so he kind of flew under the radar there. And again, he has only gotten better as the season's gone on. And now at this point, he's not sneaking up on anyone, Glenn. I feel like people are onto him, and it's not going to be like it was last week at regionals where he kind of had his coming out party.
I agree.
All right, so let's jump into 120 again. 120 is going to be interesting. So the big winner here, if you ask me, was Keanu winner Manuel last weekend beating Jay Maldonado. What it essentially did would put them on the outside of number 1 ranked Dante Frenzy from Bethlehem Catholic. I think Manuel gets to the finals and ultimately loses to Frenzy. And as you see there, I have Manuel winning. I have Austin Fashour from West Scranton winning over Cannon Hershey. Maldonado beating Javian De Leon from Bethlehem Liberty. And Dante Frenzy beating Matt Ricky from Garnet Valley. Then I have Manuel beating Fashour and Frenzy beating Maldonado. And what's going to be one of the better semifinal matchups of 2 highly ranked wrestlers. So that's one to keep an eye on when you're watching at home this weekend if it comes about. We're going to give you the, as we got later, I think everyone knows where we're going with it, but the top potential semifinal match of the tournament we'll talk about later in our preview.
Yeah, I have it pretty similar. I have Manuel in the finals against Frenzy and Frenzy winning. Obviously, Frenzy is probably if not the best wrestler at this weight class. He's definitely, in the top 2 and it's going to be a state finalist. But you're right. The separation here between Maldonado and Manuel was huge. Manuel now put himself in a great spot. But I do have Cannon Hershey taken out Austin Fashour. I have not seen Fashour wrestle at all. All I know is that Cannon Hershey sat out during the season, was not able to wrestle due to Oxford limiting the sport to just the postseason. And Cannon Hershey's a nasty dude. When he comes to wrestle, he wants to hurt you. He wants to win. And I like that style in the super region, Joe, especially here in District 1. So that's my only change there. And again, that's really a toss-up bout. If you look at those guys, I think they're ranked, in the 16 and 17.
Yep, they're pretty close.
Yeah, pretty close. So I did the old home cooking there, Joe. That's a shocker to folks out there, isn't it?
Yeah, well, you do have really fell in love with the chessmon in recent years. So I'm not surprised by that pick whatsoever. I know you even looked at taking up residence in Chester County because of it. You like it so much, us going down there to cover matches. So let's jump down to the consolation bracket. I have Myers and Hershey wrestling. Hershey beating Myers, and then De Leon beating Riki. And then with those cross brackets out of the semis, Maldonado beating Hershey, Bashar beating De Leon, and then Maldonado beating Fashauer, and then sorry, I have a mistake there. Sorry, it should be Hershey beating De Leon for fifth place. I apologize for that mistake there. I'm sure someone's gonna give me grief on the form about that. I'm done.
Now. Well,
I'm done. All the
little...
keyboard commandos under their false fake names are going to come out and say something now.
Yeah, well,
oh boy.
Everyone has to understand that I forced you to get this done today because of my schedule tomorrow. But I just have it a little bit different due to the fact that I had Fashauer losing that first match. So I have Maldonado taking him out where Hershey is. So Maldonado against De Leon. I have De Leon in that fourth spot. And again, that's just kind of, I really don't know the Liberty, program right now. I know that they've been really good over the last several years. I just like De Leon here in this spot. But Maldonado will handle him. I think Maldonado and Manuel are high on the medal stand in Hershey at this weight class. So that's how I have it. And then I have Hershey taking out Foshhauser. So just a little bit different. And again, when we're talking about these weight classes, there are going to be some upsets. I don't think you're going to see major upsets, but you're going to see some different, spots here. I mean, and again, I have not. I mean, I don't know how much you've seen or looked at District 11. I mean, I get most of my information from Brad Wilson. He's a great writer and just won the national award up there for his work. So, I kind of follow things through the eyes of Brad Wilson. And I'm not going to be able to talk to Brad at the tournament, but I'm sure he'll be there. It's nice always to get his insight too. So maybe Brad, if you're going to look at this, let us know what your thoughts are before Saturday.
Definitely. So let's move into 126 pounds, and Southeast Regional Champ was Dominic Findora, and the Northeast Regional Champ was Tyler Kasich from Bethlehem Catholic. Kasich, some of you might know, former District 1 kid, moved on to Bethlehem Catholic.
Is he a Central Bucks kid?
It's my understanding, he was a CB West.
Central Bucks, yeah.
That's my understanding.
I think he was actually CB East.
I've been wrong before, so possibility.
I'll have to talk to Scarpo about that one, but definitely a Central Bucks kid. Just not sure where he would have ended up, but I'm pretty sure it was East. But yeah, Kasich is just he's been phenomenal this year. It's my phenomenal is my word tonight, Joe.
And so I have Findora winning, getting to the finals. I have Parrish McFarland, one of the, Pottsville had another program on the up. Did lose, I believe his name is, first name is Nick Kunstek to Blair. He is super tough, unfortunately not in the Pottsville singlet this year, but it would have been part of his class that they're pretty high on in Pottsville. But McFarland is freshman, he's 22-3. I have him beating Borzio. Shippey, I have him beating Snoke from Northampton, and I have Tyler Kasich beating Billy Wilson from Westchester Henderson. Shippey beating Kasich and Findora beating McFarland have set up that final. Kasich's ranked like number 1, Findora like somewhere around 7, and I think Kasich's gonna be a little bit too much for him in this final here. Glenn, how do you see it?
Yeah, I mean, I do have the finals the same way with Kasich winning. I feel strongly about Kasich here. I mean, again, just a great year for him. Ranked high all year long in the state. So I like him winning here over Findora. If Findora has a perfect match, Joe, he can hang in this bout with Kasich, but he's going to have to wrestle an absolutely flawless match to be in it. In terms of the Borzio McFarland match, this is these are two kids that have a lot of matches. McFarland's racked up. He's got 25 bouts, and of course, those Quakertown kids have 25 plus wins. So I think 26 for Borzio matches, 25-1. I have Borzio winning here. Borzio to me had a little bit of a letdown last weekend. I think we're going to talk about people coming back from the regionals. I have a feeling he puts it together and gets by the freshmen. And Shippy, it may be one of the hottest wrestlers that I saw last week. However, Snoke, the Concrete Kid, is going to beat Shippy here, and Shippy's going to come back and get third place on my bracket. But that's a little bit different. So it will change our brackets down below if you bump down.
Glenn, you're always against Interboro kids, man. Or what's up with that?
No, I'm really not.
I'm kidding.
D'Augustino last week was phenomenal.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that when we get to 52. So let's look at this. Let's look at this wrestle back here. So I got Hutchinson, Borzio. I got Borzio beating Hutchinson. I got Snoke and Wilson. Snoke winning, but Wilson, I will say this: I'm impressed. He's a guy that can catch you at any time. That one is almost like coin flip. I'm just going with the pedigree from Northampton on that one. And then Shippy and Borzio set up that rematch from last week where Shippy beat him. And like you said, Shippy was hot last week, did all he could and really showed well. But I don't know that he's going to replicate that performance. I'm going Borzio here in the rematch to go to get on the podium essentially. And really these Conci semifinals, these matches are going to be tremendous because that's going to decide whether or not you get on the podium. It's not just Saturday. No. It decides whether you're on the podium in a week in Hershey. So those matches, some of them are going to be bloodbaths. They're going to be all-out battles and wars. So I'm really looking forward to a lot of those. I think Borzio, with it on the line, pulls it out. And I believe McFarland beats Snoke, and McFarland beats Borzio again for third place. And Shippy losing to Snoke for fifth place. Again, going, as I said earlier already tonight, going with the gut on these picks here down the stretch.
Yeah, and again, I obviously have a little bit different with that Borzio, Snoke winning up top. So dropping back down, I have Snoke taking out McFarland in that upper Conti semi, and I have Shippy getting the best of Borzio again. So I came right back to the Interbro stud, and I have Shippy taking third place over Snoke. And again, I do like, the Concrete Kid, getting out here. So, and then I have Borzio taking out McFarland. And again, this is one of those brackets as well where we just don't know. But these matches, like you said, these Conti semi matches are just sick. They're going to be sick all day long. I mean, that, sometimes you're wondering where's going to be the best match? And you're looking for a semifinal bout. Some of the semifinal bouts aren't going to be that exciting.
Some are going to be snooze fest because they're going to wrestle tight, and it's not going to be, when you get to that Conti semi, you got to kind of throw everything in the kitchen sink out there to try and get yourself, into that Conti final.
Yeah. So that's going to be a good spot. I mean, I hope you have a good ringside seat there, Joe.
Yeah, I'm hoping so too. So let's roll into 132 pounds. We got the second ranked in the state, Nathan Lucier from Coatesville, and the fifth ranked Matt Mayer from Bethlehem Catholic. These two are on a collision course, in my opinion, Glenn. I think we're going to see them in the final, Lucier winning. But along the way, I believe Dominic Wheatley in a close match with Eddie Galang, another guy who's been wrestling really well this postseason from North Penn. I'm going Wheatley. I'm going with the Nazareth pedigree there. And Dave Crowell having those guys ready to go. And then down in the bottom half, I'm going Kelly Kakos over Nick Veldy from Emmaus. Talk to some, talk to people from someone that has ties to both PV and Emmaus. And I thought they agreed. Kakos is going to be a little bit too much for him in the neutral position. So I think that's going to be the difference maker in this match. And I think Kakos wins, gets the semis, but ultimately loses to Mayer.
Yeah, so, up top, I have Lucier obviously going right on through here. I mean, this is a no-brainer. This guy wants to get in the state finals and win it. So he's on a mission. So I like him up top. I have him against Wheatley, and I have Kakos and Mayer as well, and Mayer winning that. So same way up top, Joe, no issues.
All right, so let's drop down as wrestlebacks here, and we got Smith and Galang, and Velde and Brunner. So that should be the same for you and I, Glenn. I got Galang winning, and I got Velde winning over Brunner. But again, this was one that was tough for me because I've watched Brunner this postseason. It's just a guy you can't count out. Like, he finds ways to win, and he's just I wouldn't call it crafty. He just finds ways to win. Like, and it's not necessarily the prettiest thing, and he just goes out and does it. So he's made the smart nap, but I think Velde's going to ultimately win. But and what could be a really fun close match. Glang and Keikos. Keikos already owns a win over him this postseason. I think they wrestled in the finals of the District North tournament. I think Keikos wins again, and then Wheatley beats Velde. I think they wrestled last week. I don't have my notes right in front of me at this point. And then Wheatley beating Keikos for third place, and Velde beating Galang for fifth place.
Yeah, I have it pretty much the same way, but I do have Keikos beating Wheatley. Keikos has been hot all year, Joe. This Perkiomen Valley team, they flew under the radar this year in the pack. They have some really impressive wrestlers. Keikos is maxing out right now. He's peaking at the right time. And I just see him really kind of ripping through here and taking third place. So that's just kind of, again, a gut feeling, just seeing what he's done this year. But, Eddie Galang is dangerous. I mean, this guy's been around forever. He's been a varsity wrestler. Really no one. He flew under the radar as a sophomore, a freshman and a sophomore. And, last year kind of had a little bit of a breakout season. But this year he's been on fire. And I do have Galang beating Velde. So just a little bit different in terms of who wins those finals for the third and fifth place bout. But, again, this is a nice weight class. In terms of, I don't think we have outside of Lucier here. I mean, I don't think we have the top guys in the state. We took besides Mayor and Lucier, but it's a nice weight class.
It's got balance past those.
Yeah, there you go.
Two.
Yeah.
So, again, you mentioned the PV wrestling team definitely on the way up. Had new coaching staff. Breathe some life into the program. And they have the Keikos, Pasco, the Euchre, and again, seeing these guys come through middle school. There's two more Euchres that are eighth graders. Ninth graders next year. They both can go and wrestle and scrap. So they're gonna have some talent, and they're young. Keiko's a sophomore, Euchre sophomore, Pasco a sophomore. So you have two more Euchres and possibly in the lineup next year, and almost probably over a full year with the new staff. So that's definitely gonna be important. And we're not done seeing probably PV wrestlers this far into the postseason. So I just want to make note of that. I think I want to give credit.
It's duly noted, and I think people ought to pay attention to that Perk Valley program again.
All right, you ready to jump into 38? 38 is where
Here we go, John.
All right. So this is somewhere where Glenn and I are actually in the top half of the bracket, spot on the same. And we talked off camera before we started. We got Kyle Hausman ranked number one in the state at 138. Andrew Harmon, the champ from the Northeast. Then we got Trent Kokersberger from Southeast, Chance Babb, and Dominic DeFalco. Glenn, I told you this off camera. I tell you again, I think it's an all District 1 semifinal. I just think that we match up well with these guys. The one that I'll tell you the one that I'm least confident in of these four matches is the DeFalco-Harmon match. But I think it could go either way. DeFalco had an off weekend last weekend, something uncharacteristic of him. I'm going to say that he rebounds, bounces back, and gets back on track, and starts it with a win over Harmon from Bethlehem Catholic. However, the way Chance Babb rebounded from his first week from the District South tournament to wrestle last weekend, I think Babb is going to beat DeFalco again. Again, he's shifty, and he's able to score from numerous places. And I think that doesn't fit into DeFalco's strengths in that regard. So I'm going with Babb and Hauserman in the final, with Hauserman winning. But again, it's one of those things. If DeFalco gets that big win over Harmon, maybe it gives that jolt of confidence that he needs, and that maybe was lacking a little bit last week, and it puts him in the final again. But again, this is one of those ones where we have a top level guy in Kyle Hauserman, and we have a lot of guys vying for second, third, and fourth place.
Yeah, and we talked about this last week in the preview show that we felt that Hauserman and DeFalco were the class of this weight class, and Bab just kind of really rose to the occasion. But
And he can't forget Kokersberger, because Kokersberger beat
no,
DeFalco for third place.
I know, and I think Dom resets this. He hits the reset button this weekend, and I think he's going to figure out a way to beat Bab. And I have DeFalco in the finals against Hausman to see that rematch from that district final north. So that's the only difference, Joe. I love District 1 here in this weight class. So I believe DeFalco will take out Harmon. And he will come back and get that vengeance on Bab. So, Boyertown's probably pissed off at me right now. But anyway, I'm going to stick with those picks, and then if we drop down, I guess it's going to be just a little bit different.
All right, so we got Bevan and Harmon, Fritz and Zabrowski. I got Fritz beating Zabrowski. I got Harmon beating Bevan, and then I got Harmon beating Kokersberger and DeFalco beating Fritz, and then Harmon returning the favor to DeFalco and beating him for third place, and Fritz beating Kokersberger for fifth. Harmon beating DeFalco for third, sorry, and Fritz beating Kokersberger for fifth.
Right, now I obviously have Bab in the DeFalco spot, and I have Bab taking out Harmon. I just feel that it's Bab or DeFalco there, that either one of them get it done.
I mean, in your defense, at least like that wins back some points with the Boyertown, fan base.
Yeah, I have Bab taking third. I think Bab and DeFalco are going to represent us up at States along with Hauserman. I think we take 3 out of the 4 here. And then I have Kokersberger beating Fritz. And again, I just think Kokersberger, in any given other year, maybe he's the guy that gets out here. But this weight class is loaded.
We were just really deep at this weight class in our region, and then you sprinkle in the Harmon and other guys from District 11. It's a lot, and it's not like a weight class where we don't have talent. We have a lot of talent, state level talent. DeFalco is if we're counting him as a state qualifier now, as a 4-time state qualifier. Bab is a returning state qualifier. I mean, Kokersberger himself is a returning state qualifier, and Hauserman's a 2-time medalist at this point. So on his way to being a 3-time medalist, possible state champ.
And like I said, any other given year for Kokersberger, he's in good shape.
Yep. All right, let's turn the page. You ready to go to 145 pounds?
Oh yeah, this is a good.
All
one.
right.
This is a good one.
Another good one. So let's go and let's take a look here. We got Connor Eck, the Southeast Regional champ. His dad gave me some grief on the forum, asking for an apology. I have him making the final. As you can see there, I have Mara beating Arner from Whitehall, McMonagle beating Miltix from Bethlehem Catholic, and then beating Condomity, setting up a rematch with Eck. And I'm doubling down on McMonagle winning. After watching it, how Eck wrestled, he did extremely well. His counter wrestling was next level. But I'm confident that there'll be adjustments made to combat that this week. I think in a tight match, I think he wins. But I don't know that Eck will have to do more than counter wrestle in order to win it the second time. I just think that the adjustments that need to be made are on McMonagle's ends, and I believe he'll do it.
Yeah, so I have the same bracket here in the semis with Eck and Morrow, and I have McMonagle against Condomity. I have McMonagle getting by Condomity, and again, he'll have to dig deep to get that done. I mean, that's going to be
100%.
It's one of the bigger semifinal matches we're going to see in this super region. Eck is on a mission. He wants to win a state title. He's made it clear. He did out wrestle McMonagle. He got the early takedown. He got an escape, and he rode that out. His defense, Joe, was just off the charts. He was full split 2 times and a 3rd time, and hand fighting McMonagle's deep shots. I mean, I was telling you off camera how deep McMonagle got in. McMonagle will have to make some adjustments to finish on Eck, but I don't think Eck is going to allow him to get in. I really think this is going to, if there's like a strategic battle that we're going to see in the finals, it's going to be between these two guys. McMonagle is capable of getting to the next level in terms of like raising the intensity level, but Eck embraces it. And I saw that in that match. I was sitting right in front of that mat. It was probably the best match that we saw all weekend. And of course, Eck earned the OW honors in that match.
And
So I'm going to stick
well
with Eck.
deserved at that.
Yeah, I'm gonna give Eck the edge here, and he gets the win again.
All right, so let's take a look at the consolation bracket and see who else gets out. This is another weight class, Glenn. Before we go down there, like this is another weight class where we're like deep. I mean, returning state qualifiers: Eck, Morrow, McMonagle, returning state medalist.
We're taking
you know, so yeah, and again, not to let the cat out of the bag, but that's how I have it. I have Machado and Arner winning, Miltix beating Luke, Morrow beating Miltix, Condomini beating Arner, Condomini beating Morrow, giving us 3 out, and Miltix beating Arner for 5th place. I have a good feeling about us getting 3 out, barring any catastrophes in this weight class again. And it's, when we were coming into a year where we maybe weren't sure what we were going to see out of District 1 wrestling, I really feel like we're, benefiting from being in the East region, super region at that. And, here we are, another weight class. We're getting 3 that I believe we get 3 guys out.
Yeah, I mean, District 1's a class of this weight class. I mean, outside of Dagan, Condomini, but, he's only a sophomore, Joe. I have Morrow taking him out. Morrow, to me, reminds me of, a Zach Freiling, a Courtnick. I mean, that same body type. I mean, I was looking at Morrow. I'm like, that's a little Zach Freiling. And, this kid is.
That's a lofty comparison there.
Yeah, but Joe, I'm just saying that I'm talking just body type alone. Morrow is very physical, and he is like he is made for the postseason. I don't think he gets bored during the regular season, because I don't think wrestlers ever get bored. I think they try and get the best out of all the competition they get during the season. But Morrow, it seems every postseason, he just every weekend, man, just gets it up there, and I really think he takes out Condomini here. Just on experience alone. So, and I have Arner taking out Militech. So it's just a little flip flop there. But yeah, pretty much the same. And those matches down below can, for that third place match is going to be a good one.
Yeah. All right. So let's look at the 52, and we got Zach Martin, Southeast champ, and Evan Gleason from Bethlehem Catholic, the Northeast champ. I think those guys are on a collision course. I'm going to go with Martin, as you can see there. Chase Barlow and Noah Okamoto from Nather is going to be a good match. I think Barlow wins. He's going to rebound from last week's disappointment. And D'Agostino and Cordell Waiters. D'Agostino looked sharp last week after not wrestling his best in the District South tournament. Really came back on fire and looked good. So I think he wins. Gleason's going to be a little bit too much for him. And I think Gleason's going to be a little bit too much for Needles. But I think the interesting part of this weight class is going to be this bottom half of the bracket when, you have D'Agostino, Barlow, and Needles. This is another weight class where we get possibly 3 guys out. So, Glenn, how do you see the top half working?
The top half, I pretty much have exactly the same. I have Martin winning over Gleason. Zach Martin is I'm not going to say he's cautious, but when he gets a lead, he defends a lead very well.
Yeah.
He opens up early. He gets his takedowns. He gets his tilts, gets his back points, and he rides. He just, he cruises. So I really think Martin's the better of the two here. And D'Agostino, he's a beast. He's dangerous in this weight class, Joe. So, who knows what could happen in that. That's another semifinal match that I'd like to be ringside for. So if you drop down, I think you're going to see, where we are down below, because I think we both have it the same way. So, yeah, we do.
Yeah, DeMarc and Okamoto, Waiters and Needles. I think Needles wins. D'Agostino beats Okamoto. This Needles-Barlow match, it wasn't like 5-2 and they wrestled last week. It's going to be an all-out. If this match happens, Glenn, this is going to be probably one I really like to see because I really like watching both these guys wrestle. And I've said it long. I've talked about it before. I think very highly of Needles as not just a wrestler, just an individual, just a nice young guy. Arlo, same thing. Just seems like just like a great kid. It's hard to see this decide one getting on the podium, one not getting on the podium. If the Needles come up short a few times, but I'm going to go with Barlow based on past performance. And then Barlow and D'Agostino, I'm going to go D'Agostino. Go with the hot hands. After dropping the match to Gleason, and after the way he wrestled last week, I'm going back to D'Agostino. I picked against him last week. I'm not making that mistake again. And then I got Needles being Okamoto, finish off his career with a win.
Yeah, I have it exactly the same way. Just to mention that Barlow Needles match from last week. Needles was a little frustrated by Barlow, and Needles wasn't able to open up. And he is an outstanding kid, like a lot of those Springford kids. And it's going to be a good one. I don't know if Needles can turn the tide. Barlow again, he's kind of turning it up a notch each weekend, each match. But D'Agostino, he's dangerous.
Yep.
Like I said, I don't know what's going to happen up there with Gleason. I really don't. I can't rule that kid out. He's flown under the radar all year long, just like that Interbo team has in the past couple of years. But yeah, I got D'Agostino taking out Barlow, and I got Needles taking out Okamoto. So exactly, this is like the first one we agreed on, Joe, all the way through.
Yeah. So let's go over to 160 where we get to see some more of the best in the state from not just District 1 but District 11 as well. So we got Jack McGill, Southeast Region champ, undefeated from Springford, returning medalist, and he's on a collision course with Jagger Condometti, Dagan's older brother, and ranked number 1 in the state, senior from Northampton. As you like to say earlier, the concrete kid. I think that this is a collision course. I think ultimately though that Condometti wins. Beats McGill, knocks him off, and gives him his first loss of the season. Where McGill is really tough and strong and able to score in a lot of positions. I think Condometti's technique is going to be the deciding factor in this match.
Yeah, I have exactly the same bracket, Joe. Same result with Condometti winning. This again is probably the first of two matches that could have been state finals. We'll talk about the other one later, up at 189. So I agree with you with Condometti. I think that he gets the best of McGill, but McGill can beat anybody. We've seen that in the past. Last year was a great example. So that's going to be a great match. It's a great finals match. It very well could have been a state final. I know the people out in the West aren't going to agree with that, but at the same time, I'm looking forward to this match.
And I don't want to look past College Ezzy Condometti because College Ezzy does a great job of slowing matches down. And not saying hey, it's the postseason, anything can happen. But I don't want to sidestep that and not give credit where credit's due. Where College Ezzy is at his best in a situation if he can score early, get up 1-0, and then get into his ride. He's really tough in those spots. Again, anything can happen in the postseason, and that's why we wrestle, and we're just here giving opinions. So don't want to look past that. And I do want to say we'll talk about when we get to the wrestle back. I do have Landon Muth beating from Bethlehem Catholic beating Mason Stein.
Yeah, I have that too.
So I have Stein beating Spindler, and I have Horvath beating Fairchild. I got College Ezzy beating Stein, and then this Horvath Muth, I went back and forth with it, and ultimately I went with Muth over Horvath. Both sophomores, both have won a lot of matches. I'm just going with the District 11 guy here. Call me crazy. I'm sure, Glenn, if you have that same matchup there, you're going District 1. I just know you and how how you love the chess So you're probably going Horvath. I just see Muth winning, and then College Ezzy beating him, and then Horvath beating Stein for third place.
Yeah, I do.
Return the favor from last week.
Yeah, I do have Horvath taking out Muth. and Colagiesi, winning that third place bout. Again, you're right. We can't dismiss Colagiesi here at all. He definitely is looking to get on the medal stand up there at the Giant Center. But yeah, I have Horvath getting by, so I do have Horvath finishing fourth, and I do have Mason Stein taking fifth over Muth. Mason Stein has had a real quiet season. He's coming out of the SOL, and he just really flew under the radar. He had some good wins. I think he took out Morrow during the year. So that was a big win for him, and I think that kind of put him on this path that he's on right now. So I haven't taken fifth place. So a little bit of difference, down below. But again, these are going to be, like you said, with Horvath and Muth, that's the one that changes the brackets for us both. And like you said, it could go either way.
Yeah.
I mean, Horvath. Listen, Horvath is young. He's a young kid, and I really think that he's. He's all upside, and this could be a win that he gets that propels him to the next level. So it was funny. I watched Bo and his dad talk a little bit before one of his matches last week, and they were scouting a little bit, watching Stein wrestle. So that's a good connection with father son there on the mat.
Definitely fans of the Horvath. So let's move on to 172 pounds. And I'm just saying, rebound is the title of this bracket for me. We got Jack Leto, the Southeast Region champ, and Dominic Falcone, the Northeast Region champ. Those two coming off their weekends. I think Falcone repeats as champ. Leto's path's a little different. I believe he wins, and Romanelli wins over Sonny Sasso, and what's going to be one of the best quarterfinal matches. We talked about a lot of great semifinal matches and finals matches. That one's there. You want to circle that one. Make sure you tune in for that. I'm going with the senior over the sophomore, and and everyone's saying like Sonny Sasso and name association and Nazareth. I'm going Romanelli after the disappointing performance he had last week. I think this changes. Then we get to see the match that we all wanted to see for the regional title last week. Going with Romanelli. I joked with Leto's dad. I said I'm going to continue to pick against him. It's working for him. At the end of the day, I got no ill will other than I just think Romanelli is going to win that match. I've been wrong. I was wrong with Romanelli last week when he got knocked off by Castorina early on. Or was it Castorina or was it?
Castorina hit a
Castorina beat him in the quarterfinals, yes.
Yeah, the lateral drop that did it.
So I just think Romanelli bounces back and we get that match. And if that match happens, I think that's going to be one of the better underrated semifinal matches between Leto and Romanelli. There's two guys that can just flat out go, gas tanks galore. And, it's one I hope to see. Regardless of that, and we get it. Regardless, we're putting a guy from District 1 in the finals. That's how I view it. Good, bad, or indifferent. But Falcone's the classist of this group at 172 pounds. I believe it's his weight class to lose. Everyone else is wrestling for second, third, and fourth place. But let's look at the rest of it. I got Wayne McIntyre from East Stroudsburg North knocking off Darrell Barrett. But at the same point, Barrett has to be able to replicate again what he's been doing for another week. I don't know if he's capable of that. We'll see. Merrick Seaman, the sophomore from Westchester Ruston, as impressive as he's been, coming back after a disappointing District South tournament to qualify for regionals. I believe he took fourth at District 1 South, third or fourth, and he qualifies for regionals. My hat's off to him and the staff there at Westchester Ruston getting that and helping to make that happen. He runs into Falcone. Falcone just going to be too much for him. So, Glenn, let me hear it. I know you probably see this one a little bit different.
Yeah, I see it a lot different. I do have Leto winning his first match against my college buddy's son. He's transferred to LaSalle and had a great year. But Leto gets by him. Leto is a tactician. He talked about the gas tank to boot. He just wrestles really clean matches. He's tough to beat, tough to score on. I have Sasso beating Romanelli. I'm going to go with the Nazareth kid. I'm going to stick with the name. I'm going to stick with District 11 here on this one, and it's going to be a Sasso Falcone final with Falcone winning. And I do have Barrett getting by McIntyre. Barrett, his gas tank. He is quick. He is lightning. He will score takedowns, and you can't keep him down. I really liked the way he wrestled last week. He was kind of a surprise to me, and I feel he keeps it going here. So I have Barrett getting in the semifinal. So that's going to change things down below.
So let's drop down, take a look at it.
Yeah.
So I got Sasso beating Loudney. Is that how you say it, Glenn?
Who's that?
How do you say that?
Yeah.
Loudney. And then Barrett beating Seaman. And then I got Sasso beating McIntyre and Lito beating Barrett. And then just as you had above, I have Sasso beating Lito. Just what I have. And I'm sorry. Again, another mistake. Oh, man, I'm going to hear Barrett beating McIntyre.
No one can see mine. I did it once too, Joe. I had Horvath twice down there for some reason, but it happens. No, you can change it on the fly. You're lucky. I have a little bit differently here. I have Barrett beating Romanelli. I just think that I was not impressed with Romanelli. Castorini did catch him with that lateral drop, but Castorini did out wrestle him and hung on to the win. I think that really set Romanelli back. And I think Barrett steps up and gets a win here over Romanelli. I know that's a big upset. And I have Barrett and Lito going at it, and I have Lito winning third place just because I like the way he wrestles. He always wrestles a clean match. I do have Romanelli coming back and taking out McIntyre for fifth. So, again, these matches are going to be intense. And there's going to be some big moves being thrown out there on the mat. A 5-point move you can ride a 5-point move when you hit it early or in the middle of a match, and that's what happened to Romanelli against Castorini, and Castorini just hung on. So this weight class is up for grabs outside of Falcone in my mind.
Agreed. I think we can see it any way with Falcone, and it could be Sasso, could be Lito, could be Romanelli. But I think I think we have roughly the four guys getting out. I know you and I disagree on Barrett and Romanelli, but I think those are probably the 5 guys that have the best chance to get out. Without a doubt.
You got to throw a dark horse in there, and I just think it's Barrett. This Kennett program, Joe, we haven't talked about that much, and Kennett program's on the rise.
They had a freshman heavyweight that was tough. Pardo, I was real big on Pardo. I think he didn't have the same tournament he had at regionals that I thought he would, but I was super impressed with Pardo at the District 1 South, watching him wrestle, watching him compete. These are freshmen. These are Bailey, what's the heavyweight? His last name is
something in the water down there, Joe.
I don't know, but definitely no. Like when we talk about PV, I think we got to give credit to Kennett. Kennett's on the way up because Barrett's a junior. They lose Kokersberger, but they have other guys coming up. And from what I understand, they got some guys coming out of their middle school as well that are going to be tough. So that's something we should all keep an eye on moving forward. Is this Kennett team?
Yeah, this new coaching staff is starting to show what they're made of as well, with these kids coming through all the way to the super region.
Yep, totally agree. So let's go to 189, where we're going to talk about some of the best the state has to offer. So let's take a look here. We got Milano out of Southeast as the champ, and then the Isaiah Reinert, the surprise winner of the Northeast region. Which what that win by Reinert does is kind of gives him not the easiest path to the finals, but a way easier one than it had he lost. What it did is put Drew Cleary up in the top half of the bracket with Milano, and that's what we kind of been alluding to, that this is going to be the best semifinal of the tournament. It could be a match you see as a final in Hershey next week, depending on how the bracket falls. If they finish first and third in this bracket here, they're going to be in the same half of the. I imagine they're in the same half of the bracket at States. So I believe Milano has a 2-1 record against Cleary. Beat him once earlier in the season last year. Beat him again the first day States, maybe in the second round, and then Cleary beat him for third place last year. I think Milano wins. You talk about guys on a mission. I think he embodies that, and I think he beats Cleary there. I think Molinaro from Hazleton area. We're going to see Hazleton area guys. They're super tough at back-to-back weight classes here at 189 and 215. I think Molinaro beats DeTrulio, and Reiner beats Silber. Reiner beating Molinaro, and then Milano beating Reiner for his super regional title for the Springford Rams. How do you see it?
I have one little difference here. I have DeTrulio getting by Molinaro, so I have DeTrulio in that semifinal against Reinhardt. I have Reinhardt winning that, and you're exactly correct with Cleary dropping that match to Reinhardt. Open things up for Reinhardt to kind of cruise a little bit here. Milano will get the best of Cleary. Again, you mentioned that 2-1 record. This again, very well could see this match again, but probably. At a different level. I think these guys probably wanted to see each other in the state finals, but Reinhardt already put a little, crimp in that. So we're going to see it in the semifinal match here in Quakertown. It's going to be the best match of the semis for me. I really look forward to that match. So Milano will win over Reinhardt. Joey's on a mission, we know.
Yeah, and let's look down. We got DeRosa and Bauman from Westchester Ruston, DeTrulio and Silber. I think we see Bauman and DeTrulio win there. The Bauman-Molinaro match, I think, is going to be, again, one of these Conci semi-match that's going to be phenomenal. Ultimately, I think Molinaro gets the win. It pains me to pick against Bauman because I've liked watching him wrestle. I've liked watching him grow into, a state qualifier. But I don't know that he's got the horsepower to go with Molinaro. It just, again, gut feeling. I hope I'm wrong. On that one. And then Cleary's gonna be way too much for DeTrulio. Cleary beating Molinaro, and Bauman beating DeTrulio for fifth place.
Yeah, so for me, the brackets look a little different with DeRosa going against Bauman. I have Bauman getting by DeRosa there and going up against DeTrulio. DeTrulio is going to win that one. And of course, I have Cleary over Molinaro, and Cleary's going to win this consolation final and take the bronze here and get himself up in that state tournament in that bracket of 8. And I have Bauman coming back and taking out Molinaro. I don't know Molinaro that well. I have not seen him wrestle. So you seem to have a little more, confidence with him. So, he could be a wild card in this bracket the way you have it. So I'm not going to argue a whole lot there, but Cleary is definitely the third guy any way you shape it up.
Yes, if we see Bauman, DeTrulio again, I would go, if how your bracket falls, I would go Bauman there instead of DeTrulio. Just throwing it out there.
I have Bauman taking 5th place, so I do have the place winners the same.
Yeah. So, all right, let's roll into 215, and we got number 1 in the state, Southeast Regional Champion Ryan Katka, Sun Valley. Northeast Regional Champ out of Delaware Valley. There we see Delaware Valley again. We saw him down early with Jack Russo. We have Jason Henderson. I think these two are on a collision course. I think they are the two best guys in the weight class. But again, this is a weight class again where District 1 has a lot of depth. With guys that have been to states before. It's again one of these. I went through the brackets today, and I. Maybe you overlook or don't think about how many guys we have and how many guys we're going to get to states. It's pretty, or I shouldn't say get to states, get to Hershey. I know I keep saying get to states, but technically, like we've talked about, this is states. So Kaka, I think it's his weight class to lose. He is the man here at 215. I believe Seth Hunsinger from Hazleton beats DiGiorgio. Collins beats Levy from Nazareth, and Henderson beats Doyle. Henderson beats Collins. Kaka beats Hunsinger, and Kaka wins over Henderson. Glenn, do you see it differently? See it the same?
I just a little different. I have Katka and Henderson in the finals with Kaka winning, but I have DiGiorgio taking out Hunsinger in that that corner final bout. DiGiorgio was able to score on Kaka last week. I got to watch that match. I also got to watch DiGiorgio and Collins. I just thought DiGiorgio maybe peaking at the right time. And again, I think we have 3 kids here that are going to return to the Giant Center in this weight class from District 1. Ryan Kaka is a beast, and I don't think anyone's going to touch him. But I think DeGiorgio, is going to get in to that semifinal bout.
All right, well, let's jump down to this wrestlebacks. I got DiGiorgio beating Burns. I got Levy beating Doyle. Sets up some Central Bucks on Central Bucks action to go to Hershey to get on the podium there. I'm going to go with Collins just because he's gotten the better of DiGiorgio in recent weeks. But that's a rivalry between those two, and they're juniors. They're both juniors. That is, they've gone back and forth over the last 2 years. I got Hunsinger beating Levy, and then Collins beating Hunsinger for third place, and DiGiorgio beating Levy or Levy for fifth place.
Yeah, and again,
I know you're going to see it differently because you had Giorgio winning, which means he's on the opposite side. So
yeah, so I have Collins and DiGiorgio squaring up for that third place bout, and I have DiGiorgio getting the best of Collins this time around. DiGiorgio has beaten Collins in the past, and again, after last weekend, watching that match between the two of them, Collins had one big move. He caught DiGiorgio, and he rode that. Well, excuse me, it's the other way around, I think. Collins scored a couple late takedowns, one at the second period and then one at the buzzer to win over DiGiorgio. DiGiorgio had caught him earlier with a lat drop and almost stuck him. So I really like DiGiorgio over Collins in that Central Bucks match for third place. And then I have Hunsinger taking out Levy for fifth place. So a little bit different, but yeah, it's going to be some exciting wrestling here. This 215-pound weight class were District 1 and heavyweight in the last couple of years has been outstanding. We've gone up there, we've grabbed medals, and this is going to be no different. And we were talking about this off camera, Joe. I'm sorry, I'm not going to let it go. I mean, District 1's going to get some medals at states, so don't be surprised. I mean, our numbers, there was talk about it earlier in the season that they didn't look very good, but with the new setup, I think we're going to get some extra medals here, Joe, and I think we both agree on that.
Yes, we do. And here's the thing too about these 215-pounders, like that from District 1, like they all can wrestle. They're not going to just bully you and push you around. They're gonna go, and they're going to take shots and ride on top, and it's it starts with Kaka. I mean, he is, like I said, he's the leader of that pack, and then we have a bunch of guys that are talented and have been to Hershey before, and hopefully we get them there again. So
yeah, that second trip to states, Joe, is huge, and these guys are young, like you said. DiGiorgio and Collins are only juniors, this may be their year to get the medal. Next year, if they're at the same weight class, they could be battling the whole way for a state title.
All right, so what we'll do, we'll go into the heavies. We'll talk about the heavies. We'll pick some team champs. Overall team champs. We'll talk about the top team from District 1, and we'll wrap it up then. Glenn, you ready to finish it out here?
I am. I'm getting tired of you.
All right, so yeah, and again, heavyweight's another weight class where we're not short on talent. I'm going right here. We got Julian LaVenture, who I think is just getting better by the week and peaking. From the Southeast Region champ, and then Sean Kinney, the freshman from Nazareth, the Northeast Region champ. There's some talk on the forum about Kinney, and when people doing some predictions, I think he is a future star in the state of Pennsylvania. But if I go from top to bottom, and LaVenture beating Camus, Butka beating Redder, Harar beating Cruz, and Kinney beating Jerome. I think it needs to be brought up about Daytrail Jerome. It was talked about on the forum. He found out on Friday he was in the regional bracket, and after finishing they didn't wrestle fifth places at the district tournament. He was the highest seed. He gets pulled in, and all he does is qualify for states.
Yeah, he had to cut some weight, Joe. I heard.
Yeah, I heard that as well. I heard he had to cut weight just to make 287. So again, hats off to him. Like that, these are the feel-good stories that we always look for in the postseason. And again, not to rehash that egg, but we weren't robbed of it. We just didn't have the same opportunities to have guys that didn't qualify, but then get pulled in, and all of a sudden they do something great. I think it was like Caleb Edwards, was it, from Avon Grove a few years ago, didn't qualify for states, and then someone gets hurt and he goes in as the 5th place guy and he medaled. I think it was Caleb Edwards. There's someone from Avon Grove, I know for a fact. But this is one of those situations where, there's Daytrell Dramone going to states, or getting the states after not even qualifying for regionals, and it's just one of those great things we see every postseason. So this is one I wanted to outline. I wanted to give him credit, but I think that and Jerome is a guy too. From what I've been told, I've never spoken to this young man. I believe he only started wrestling like freshman or sophomore year. So his ascension to where he's at is if that's the case, is pretty impressive as well. And I didn't see any of his matches over the weekend, but I heard he was just throwing guys. Glenn, maybe you can
Listen,
attest to that.
He ran out of gas a little bit in that last match against Redder for the 3rd place bout, but he had an outstanding tournament, and he was dangerous. I have it the same way up top, Joe, with LaVenture. He has a one double that just you can't stop it.
No, it's high double, and he's just so quick getting to it.
Yeah,
and
he buries his head, Joe, right
yep.
in the chat. I mean, classic Bloom blast double. I mean, it's amazing.
And to be able to hit that at his size on these guys, it's hard if you can't match that athleticism. And Harar's tough as they come, going to Bucknell, but didn't have an answer for it. 12-6 lost.
Yeah, I know. We were texting back and forth, and you asked about did he hit the double, and he did a couple of times. And Harar, you're right, could not keep up with LaVenture. And LaVenture's a big boy, and he's quick. And that double is very explosive. I mean, he drove Harar right across the mat from the center and got to 2, the first one. And once he gets that takedown, confidence just.
Yep, more coming.
Yeah, and then he's very comfortable to go right back to his feet.
Yep. So let's drop down and take a look at this consolation bracket. We got Comus and Redder. I think Comus wins. Cruz and Jerome. I'm going with Cruz. I'm going with District 11 guys there. Butka and Kinney dropping down after the cross bracket. I got Kinney winning, Cruz winning from Easton, and then Kinney winning, taking 3rd, and Comus beating Butka for 5th place. I know you probably see it differently, Glenn.
Not really. I have Kinney and Cruz in the Conti finals, and Kinney winning that. So we do agree there for 3rd and 4th. I do have Redder, taking Buka out for 5th place. I think that Redder's had a good season. I think he finishes off with the win here and gets 5th place. But this is pretty much one weight class we agree upon, and we've seen these guys, and Harar, we'll give LaVenture some fits, but I think LaVenture is the best of the group here.
So there we have it. There's all 13 weight classes previewed. Glenn, as always, I like that we found some weights to disagree on. Let's talk the team race for
a
few minutes. So I think if I have to sit here and pick a team champ on Wednesday evening, going into it with knowing who's there, I think it's a two-team race. District 11, as far as District 11 goes, I think it's going to come down between Nazareth and Bethlehem Catholic. Those are the safe picks. It comes down to like how many guys are getting on to the following week and winning those matches. Not so much Nazareth. Nazareth, like, aside from Cleary, like they're not going to wow you with guys that are real hammers. I mean, and Cleary is a hammer, but he's going to run into Milano, and we both agree I think Milano's going to win that one. So with that said, they're going to be in the race to win the regional title, and might not have a champ. And I think that's going to be pretty impressive. I think they're going to put a lot of guys to Hershey next week, but I don't think either of us had a champ for them. Now, maybe I'm just delirious and just seeing too many brackets today, but I think it's going to come down between the two of them for the regional title. And if we're talking about local team, District 1, it's kind of hard to pick against Springford because I think we both had Smith going, we both had McGill going, we both had Milano going.
And Needles is going to get some points.
And Needles is going to win some matches as well. So there's that. And then who I think sneaks up? Whereas Westchester Henderson came out and wrestled really well last week at the region second. I'm going to say Quakertown is going to finish ahead of Westchester Henderson this week, because they're just going to have guys that are going to go further into the tournament overall. It's just going to come down to volume for me.
I agree.
Nothing against the Henderson, but some of those Henderson guys are just in tough spots, and it's going to be hard to find the wins that they found last weekend. Bauman's going to win hopefully 2 matches for them. McMonagle's going to win 2, maybe 3. Cortez might sneak one in. Wilson might find a way to win one, but it's going to be tough sledding for them and overall.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this is a year we're not talking about Council Rock South here. It's a super regional with a large group. I mean, they did not fare very well last weekend, so it's sticking to District 1 first. I mean, Springford obviously is the class. They won the region last week, the Southeastern region. So I do have them there in the 1 spot for us, and I agree with you on the Quakertown with the volume and the quality of wins and placers. So. No disagreement there. This Nazareth team is very dangerous, but we don't get to see Becca all the time, and they're going to be in our backyard, Joe. I think we got a good view of them last year at Escape the Rock, but you can never rule them out. They're going to have a champ or two. They're going to have a runner-up or two, and pick up some big wins, and they're going to get those big points for advancement. Nazareth, you might be right. They may have the volume. And if my Sasso pick is right, that could be the difference for them to get by Becca. So that'll be interesting. Again, you got 2 of the top teams, kind of in the state here battling it out for this team title. So I don't really pay too much attention to the team race here in the super region. Are they getting points for states? It's kind of interesting, like, what the thought process was about a team title here. So, I'm just not really paying attention to the team race. I don't know if that's just me or others are feeling the same way. I just don't see the team race here as a big deal until we get up to Hershey. So, but it really, you got to get it done here. You got to get the bodies, up there. You got to have numbers in Hershey. We know that for sure. So it's going to be interesting, that team race. So we'll keep an eye on it. But more importantly, we're going to showcase, the East, some of the best wrestlers from the Lehigh Valley and District 1 squaring up. I mean, I really like the format. I don't think it could have shaped out any better for this East Super region. And again, we're not seeing those kids from across the Susquehanna River on the other side of Susquehanna River. Luckily they got stuck up there in the west. But it's going to be interesting. It's just it was interesting last week. It's going to be interesting again this week, even though it was just a regular region. But it was only 8 kids, and it was watered down, if you will, in terms of just 8 kids in that first weekend. I know there was talk about adding those 12 wrestlers with that first round pigtails gone, but we stuck with 8. I think District 1 did a great job, and we got to give kudos out to Denny Kellen and the committee and Sean Kelly and Rod Stone too for getting us to this point.
Yeah, they're getting us closer to the finish line, and who knows what happens next week. Like you said, with fans, now that the state has loosened up a little bit, I'll say this, Glenn, like they have plenty of time to game plan for it. If the Penguins could have turned around in 24 hours and got 3,000 fans into the arena the other night for the Penguins Flyers game, then I believe that the PIAA can do the same for our fans. I think, I'm not going to say they owe it to them, but I think because that. Just because that implies, I guess, negativity or anything like that. I just think that they should do it because, my opinion, is the right thing to do. I hope that they can work and come to some kind of agreement where guys that we get to Hershey, or any wrestlers that get to Hershey, get to bring a parent along with them, or maybe 2. I mean, it's like an 8,000 seat arena. There's plenty of space, and they're going to split the sessions up as well. So let's make it happen. Yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Yeah,
go ahead, Glenn.
Sorry, we sat there last year at the start of COVID. I mean, it was the last PIAA championship that was held last year. I remember sitting there with Nick Pompey and Scott Cousin, just talking like, is anyone really paying attention to this COVID thing? Because it was just really starting to kind of to hit us here in the United States. And, we got through it. And, they'll get through it, but it would be nice that, the parent thing, you're right, Joe. I mean, why can't two parents come and watch with the way it's a split session, the AA's one day, AAA's one day, get them spread out in the arena and get it done. So let's cross our fingers there and we'll see what happens.
All right, folks, that's what we got for you. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. Appreciate everything that you guys do, just supporting PAWrestling.com. It's the fans that make it what it is. And, hope that you guys, just create some chatter on the forum. Again, just giving opinions, educated guesses, throwing darts at the dartboard, flipping coins, making picks here. Don't take it as gospel. Don't take it to heart. Definitely just doing it for entertainment purposes, to give you guys and gals something to talk about and watch. Because as we all know, we're all wrestling fans. We are some of the greatest fans, most loyal fans to our teams, our schools, wrestlers. It's passion is part of the sport. Glenn, if you don't have any other parting words, I'm going to close it out here for us. Looking forward to seeing some great wrestling this weekend. And again, as many guys as possible from District 1, seeing them on to Hershey, because that means we're getting guys on the podium. Wishing everyone in District 1, District 11, District 2, and District 12 guys nothing but the best this weekend. Good wrestling, healthy, safe, and all that stuff. Take care, everyone. See you soon.